Welcome back. You're right. You're on the Morning Express, and my name is Boni Tunya. Time to jump to yet another exciting interview. We're going to talk about men and their weird grooming habits. And most of this interview will be mostly targeted at me and towards me, and I've told my director that I've communicated that much. But Mutune Kilonzo from Gillette joins me now to talk about how men groom. Karibu sana.
Hi, thank you very much.
You're looking fine. I mean,
Thank you.
Bad.
Thank you.
I'm feeling, it's just the tie, but I'm feeling a bit in the, color coordination, whatnot. Mutunde, Gillette has come up with interesting figures about, how men groom and whatnot. And this would be interesting. You're saying 85% of women prefer kissing men, kissing smooth-shaven men. I'm not doing badly either. 1 in 3 women have avoided kissing a man because he had facial hair. We're in Movember actually. 67% of women think a guy with a beard will be scratchy, and 37% of women think a guy with a beard is lazy. 55% of women say that kissing a guy with a beard had irritated their faces to the extent of them using extra makeup and avoiding intimacy or even using a band-aid. Really?
Well, you see, we did a study in the U.S. Okay, it all started from.
Oh, these are U.S. men.
This is U.S. numbers. Okay, this is. Let's start here. Okay?
Right.
So we did a study in the U.S. I mean, we're the Gillette company. We do a lot of work trying to understand how women want their men to look, because this is really the key instigator.
All right.
Gillette's all about being the best.
I still feel this interview is targeting you, but it's okay. Keep going.
And to do that, we need to make men feel good. This is what grooming is about.
Right.
Cutting your hair, doing your face. It's all about bringing out the best really in you, okay?
So bringing out the best is being a metrosexual male.
That is a misconception that is slowly coming in, okay?
Right.
Even if you look back in the day, I mean, we have records of men in Kenya, by the way, using obsidian to shave themselves, okay? This is decades ago, before even, Gillette or other blades and razor companies were put together. So this is something that has been there. Now, the metrosexual look is something that has come up recently, and guys are trying to look much more groomed than they were before, and it's become stylish. But you know how styles go, they come and go. Okay. Now, the whole Kiss and Tell initiative came about. We wanted to know what motivates men, and it's mostly, as we know, our opposite sex, and also, again, what do they want their men to look like? So we did a simple study. What do you want your guy to look like? Do you want him clean shaved? Do you want him shaved? Do you want him, with a giant beard? And overwhelmingly, the response was the cleaner the better.
Was this an African-American male? Was it, what kind of?
It was total US, okay? And we did a similar, smaller study here because, we can't do it all across the world. But it was across all geographics, all types of consumers. And in even Kenya, we did a very similar but smaller test. And most
what did the Kenyan women say?
Exactly. In fact, they had more opinion than this. Because as you know, walking around, if your hair is grown out too big, or if you have too much of a beard, women, they look at you and they'll probably, pass you as they're looking. We call it deselection by selection. Okay? They select the people with a clean face, they deselect everyone else.
Why is it not so important for the Kenyan man to groom and, to be color coordinated and whatnot? What is the barrier? What stops them from that?
Okay, let me start a bit back, because we have to look a bit at the consumer. I mean, there are different types of consumers, and we segment them and we target different products and X, Y, and this will help me answer your question. There are consumers who, like, we call them Mr. Simplicity. This is a person who's very simple in his tastes. He wants a clean shave, he wears simple clothes, jeans, very, simple guy.
That's a good team to be in.
Exactly, and this is where you find majority of the people. Now, then you've got Mr. Style. Okay. This is the guy with the, jacket, the blazer wrapped around his neck. He looks absolutely fabulous, head to toe. And he wants the absolute best. He wants the closest shave ever. He doesn't want to even, when he rubs his hand over his cheek, he doesn't want to feel one single hair there. This is Mr. Style, okay? So it really depends on the guy.
Where are you, incidentally?
I'm actually somewhere in the middle. Let me put myself somewhere in the middle. It's actually called Mr. Magnetic. Okay. So this person actually is very simple. Doesn't like it's styled, okay? Not clean shaves, not over the top, just decent and very, you know, straight up casual, okay? But these types of people, I mean, when a man chooses who he wants to be, then it also defines everything that he wants to wear, use, and talk about.
But part of that is determined by what he does for a living. I mean, it depends on your job. I would love to sport dreadlocks, but my job doesn't allow me. So does it also affect entirely? I mean, are you determined by what you do for a living?
That's a very good question. And yes, in some extent, yes, you are. I mean, like you say, if you're working in a bank and you're an investment and you're a trader, you don't want to walk around strutting dreadlocks. It doesn't work, okay? And this is the whole thing about male grooming. I mean, it's the whole package. It's not just about shaving. It's actually completely what you look like, because your hair really helps define who you are. And in Africa, dreadlocks have a negative connotation. In other parts of the world, like the US or Europe, it's a style, okay? So it really depends where you are, and a product like Gillette or Fusion or our Styler, which is an amazing product, allows you to choose exactly what you want to do. So if you want it clean, you can do it. If you want it like this, you can do it. And it sort of helps.
What do you mean like this? That's
clean.
clean.
This is not clean. I mean, this is a style. I mean, I've got a bit there, a bit there. I'm trying to do the Movember thing. supporting. It takes a bit of time, okay? But you know, I can't wait till 1st December where
we cut it all out.
Everything goes and it will be done with.
All right, great. Let's look at some of the ways men go wrong in terms of grooming. Let's talk about bumps, for example. Yes. I have some of that.
Yes.
Why is that Kenyan men have bumps?
Okay, first things first. It's not just Kenyan men. It's actually predominantly a lot of African men suffer from bumps, and it's caused by our hair being very curly. I mean, as you've noticed, I mean, if you look at us versus Caucasians, you'll notice our hair is curly, right? So when we shave, what happens? The hair follicle is cut, and then as it's growing, it gets caught underneath the skin and creates now a bump. Okay. Now there are various ways to get around this. I mean,
Majimoto.
Yes. You do it with hot water. But 60% of the population today in Africa, generally, they go to barbers because clippers, they don't really cut all the way. I mean, it feels like, and it looks from a distance, a clean shave, but it's not really. So you don't really have that issue. Now, when you're using a shave sort of a blade like Gillette, for instance, like Mach 3, okay, what you can do to stop bumps is basically first wash with water. This cleans first your face, which is very important, heats up the pores in the hair so it's much, much softer.
So you're talking about cleaning with hot water?
Hot water. So you start with hot water. I mean, if you don't have hot water, even cold water will do it. Hot water just makes the effects much, much better. So you apply the warm water on your face, okay? Then you can apply soap, or if you have any shave gels or shave foams, it's pretty much whichever one you can prefer. I mean, whichever one you want. Of course, coming from Gillette, I would recommend Gillette's shave foam.
All right.
And then using a blade, you cut according to the grain. This is super important. If you cut against it, I mean, you can feel how your hair is growing. If you cut against it, you'll get a much cleaner cut, okay? It will feel super smooth. But what you're doing is actually hurting the hairs and forcing them in. So you have to cut according to your hair, and you can feel it by sort of touching your face. You can feel how your hair is going. Like mine is downwards, so I always shave downwards, okay? If you want a very clean shave, because I mean, of course, if you're cutting up, you get it, but if you're cutting down, you don't really get it. We advise you to use multiple bladed products like the Mach 3, the Fusion, that really now allow you to cut and get as smooth shave as possible.
Right. Other than bumps, what are the other challenges that men face in terms of facial grooming?
Okay, I mean, one of the main challenges, apart from bumps, is really what style they want. Because as you can imagine, a guy, again, looking at Mr. Simplicity, the guy just wants it all off. Mr. Style might want, you know, he wants to look like Andre 3000. You've seen these guys.
Cross.
Exactly, you know, they want to look amazing, okay? Now, the challenge is, how do you do this, okay? And being at home, you've got your razor, you're cutting. I mean, I don't know if you've tried it. It's a nightmare, okay? You're trying to slowly cut. It's really hard, okay? Now, this is one of the main challenges, and there are various products out there that you can use to actually achieve this, and it works quite well, like our Fusion line, which on the back has a single razor that allows you now to trim as you want.
There are also some interesting facts that you've put out here. That 35% of men consider the mohawk the worst hairstyle of all time. I totally agree. 1.3 billion men shave with a blade and a razor. There's also that 400 million men shave with an electric shaver. And globally, men spend an average of $26 for blades and razors per year. Wow.
Yeah.
It's being mean to yourself, eh?
Yeah.
More than 1.7 billion men worldwide aged 15 years and older remove hair. And there's a fact here from Gillette that when a boy turns 18 in the US, Gillette sends him a pair of razors and blades.
Exactly.
Why is it so hard to do that in Africa?
Well, sending him the blades and razors? I mean, in the US, they have postcodes. It makes life a lot easier if you know where every person is. And also, again, when you're born, you're indexed. So there's a database somewhere of everyone whose birthday and when they turn 18. It's just today, first of all, Gillette and other brands here are very small, so getting to that critical mass, like I said, 60% of Kenyans today go to the barber. So until we get big enough where it makes sense for us to start sampling people, it will take a bit of time.
Now, Mutine, there are lots of guys who are saying, yes, I would like to do all that you're talking about and you know, use the razors and the triple blade and whatnot, but I can't afford it. You've seen how much men spend a year in razors. We're talking about this guy who's saying, yes, I want to maintain this look. I'm probably tamacking. I still want to look good. I'm trying to get a job, but I cannot afford this. What are the easier, cheaper, more affordable solutions of proper, healthy facial hair grooming? Okay.
So, I mean, if you look, again, unfortunately, I need to talk about my Gillette portfolio a little bit. Please forgive me. But if we look at the cheapest Gillette product, it's 35 shillings. Okay. The most expensive is 1,000 shillings. Okay. So, no matter who you are, pretty much about 60–70% of the Kenyan population today can afford that. And if you think about it yourself, getting your hair cut costs how much?
I wouldn't want to say it here. People may think I fall way below the 26%. Right.
But it's quite expensive. I mean, even if you're saying 50 shillings and you're doing it maybe three times a month, okay? So the actual cost of buying a Gillette 2, which is very affordable, a good product, 2 blades, gives you a great shave and can fit in anyone's pocketbook. Now, of course, if you want and you have the 1,000 shillings, you can go all the way. Now, the thing we try to do is make sure that as you trade up, so as you go up, just because you're paying more does not mean it's more expensive. So like, for example, a Bluetooth Plus product, which is 55 shillings, versus a Mac 3, the Bluetooth Plus the Mac 3 lasts 10 times longer than a Bluetooth Plus. So it's actually cheaper to buy a Mac 3, although out of your pocket, it feels a bit more.
You're just marketing. Anyway, final question, how am I doing?
Great, you look good.
Fantastic. Mutune Kilonzo from Gillette, many thanks.
Asante Thank you very much.
Many thanks, and I'll have to cross-check these facts if they're true, especially the $26 one.
You can check them.
Great, we've been talking about male grooming and how important is it for a man to ensure that his grooming is healthy and clean.